High Definition News for Wednesday, January 20th, 2016. I'm Jeff Kaufman.
I don't look at it as heroic. And I say you got angels around you. You have angels around you.
Pro tip, if you're going to skid your pickup truck into a ditch, roll it over and have it burst into flames, try to do it smack in front of the home of an action movie star. If you can, make sure he's home at the time. Jamie Foxx was home Monday night in Hidden Hills, and he was looking out his front window when he saw Brett Kyle's Toyota Tacoma bounce to a stop upside down in the street. Fox dialed 911 and then walked down his driveway to help. But Kyle was trapped in the wreckage and was only semi-conscious. Fox told Channel 7 yesterday that just at that moment, another driver pulled to a stop, and he had something in his car that helped.
He has EMT scissors.
Amazing.
Hits the window, clear the glass. I climb in and I try to hit his seatbelt, but he's hovered over, so the seatbelt is on him. And so I grabbed the scissors from him, cut the seatbelt, but it's on his neck, but we cut it off of his neck. And then as the flames do come into the cabin, I lean back, but I think what it did, it hit his legs, which made him extend. Your son's a fighter. And when he extends out of the cabin, pull him out, and as we pull him out, within 5 seconds later, the truck goes up.
It doesn't matter to me who it was or what they do for a living or whatever.
Brad Kyle is Brett Kyle's dad.
Just the idea that someone would do that is so much more than I can fathom. So it's all tears of joy. You know, he's got two sisters and a brother that they would have lost their brother if it wasn't for him.
Brad Kyle went to Jamie Foxx's home yesterday to thank him for saving his son. The dad says other drivers sped by the wreckage of his son's truck and no one stopped. But Fox says that one person, the EMT, did stop. Still, Kyle says what Jamie Foxx did was extraordinary.
I think we all hope that we could do something when the time is there. But the question is do we? Do we act or do we fear our own lives? And he did not.
Fox saw Brad Kyle talking with reporters yesterday, and he walked down his driveway again to meet him. He took him inside, and after a few minutes of private conversation, they both came out to meet reporters.
We'll sit up one day and have some waters and talk about it.
That's right.
All right?
As for Brett Kyle, he's in the hospital. He has a punctured lung and a couple of broken bones, but no burns. He will recover from the accident that the Ventura County Sheriff's Department says happened when Kyle's truck skidded at high speed on a wet road and hit a ditch, then flipped. Kyle also has something else waiting for him when he gets out of the hospital, a DUI charge. Still, Jamie Foxx believes it could have been worse, as he told Brett Kyle after he pulled him out of that truck.
And I said you got angels around you. You have angels around you.
The call for a boycott of this year's Oscars is gaining supporters. The protest began when the nominations came out, and for the second year in a row, the nominees in the acting categories included not one person of color. Actress Jada Pinkett Smith got the ball rolling, but Spike Lee soon seconded her motion. And yesterday, actor Idris Elba, you remember him in Beasts of No Nation, lent his support in London.
The reason I went to America is because the USA has the most famous diversity policy of all. And it's called the American Dream. The problem is the gap between the dream and reality.
Elba had been on some analysts' shortlist to be nominated for Beasts of No Nation. There are reports this morning, unconfirmed, that some African-American actors have asked Oscar host Chris Rock to quit the show. He's not talking. The support for the boycott is not unanimous in the African-American community. Boys in the Hood director John Singleton, for one, does not support it. L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti may have been thinking about the Oscars' economic impact on his city when he told Channel 7,
I'm not as worried about a boycott. I respect that, and some people will stay away, and they absolutely have the right to do that. But this is a huge global event. We still celebrate film no matter what, but it is a wake-up call to make sure that we continue to push forward.
They will hand out the Oscars on February 28th at the Dolby, used to be the Kodak, Theater. By the way, that committee that was formed to rename some Long Beach schools that currently honor people like Confederate President Robert E. Lee, it's been working for most of a year, and this week it sent its list of candidates for new names to the school board. The administrators at Bacha Khan University in Charsada in northwest Pakistan were conscious of the danger of their location, not far from Pakistan's border with Afghanistan. So they strengthened the college's front wall and entrance. They did not renovate the back wall. And it was over that back wall that 4 gunmen came early this morning. When the shooting stopped, 19 students were dead. So were the 4 gunmen shot by police before they could detonate their suicide vests. The Taliban claimed responsibility. The Taliban was crushed during the Afghanistan war, but as the U.S. withdraws, it has been gaining strength and seizing territory. Back home in Southern California, we are due for an update today from the gas company on progress on capping and sealing that runaway methane well in Porter Ranch. Gas company said yesterday that the relief well it is drilling is ahead of its previously announced schedule, and it will be completed late next month, if not sooner, instead of in March. It also says new measurements show the volume of gas that's escaping into the air and making people who live near it sick is lower than it was when the leak started in October. Congressman Brad Sherman, who represents the area, toured the site yesterday.
You can hear the gas escaping from that well. And you can hear it from half a mile away, maybe a mile away.
Thousands of residents have been evacuated because the gas was making them and their children sick. Those school kids have new temporary school assignments so they do not have to sit all day in classrooms near the leaking well. An air quality management district hearing continues this morning on whether the gas company should be forced to shut down the well completely. Governor Brown has already declared an emergency in the area and says the gas company is on the hook for the costs of the impacts of the leak. So far, scientists estimate that since it began on October 23rd, the well has released an amount of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere that's equivalent to the emissions of 7 million cars. On the other environmental and public health disaster in the U.S. this morning, the contamination of the water supply of Flint, Michigan, this was Michigan Governor Rick Snyder delivering his State of the State address last night.
I know apologies won't make up for the mistakes that were made. Nothing will. But I take full responsibility to fix the problem so it will never happen again.
Many in Flint do blame the governor for the decision in 2014 to change the source of Flint's tap water from Lake Huron to the polluted Flint River. The river water contained a high level of salt. That salt corroded Flint's old pipes, leaching lead from the pipes into the water. The EPA recently tested tap water in Flint, says the lead contamination is at levels it labels toxic waste. Scientists and physicians have long known that even small amounts of lead in drinking water cause immediate, measurable, and irreversible brain damage in humans, acutely so in children. And thousands of kids and adults in Flint have been drinking that contaminated water since 2014. Governor Snyder.
Government failed you, federal, state, and local leaders, by breaking the trust you placed in us. For those whose mistakes contributed to this disaster, we are fully cooperating with investigations and will hold those individuals accountable. And let me be perfectly clear to all of state government. And in situations like this, they must come to my desk immediately, no delays, no excuses, period.
Yeah, except protesters outside the Capitol yesterday blame Governor Snyder, and one of them is Academy Award-winning filmmaker Michael Moore, who has said that Governor Snyder belongs in prison for this episode. Here's some catch-up for your Wednesday breakfast. This is some of what might have got past you since yesterday. The case the Supreme Court just agreed to hear is titled United States versus Texas, but it's really President Obama versus Republicans. The justices will rule by June on whether the president overstepped his authority with executive orders that shielded millions of undocumented immigrants from deportation. Hey, if you've not signed up for health insurance, you have only till the end of this month. If you miss that deadline, you'll get hit with that tax penalty. And unlike last year, there will not be a bunch of special enrollment periods during which you can sign up for Obamacare late. As we told you yesterday, the Long Beach City Council did yesterday vote to raise the minimum wage in the city to $15 by 2019. There's still no movement on a new contract for California State University faculty members who want a 5% pay raise, not the 2% the chancellor has offered. The faculty has already voted to allow its union to call a strike, and if it does, the LA County Federation of Labor now says its 800,000 members will not cross CSU faculty picket lines. Also yesterday, Cal State LA faculty booed CSU Chancellor Timothy White at an on-campus meeting there. You can honor the Long Beach State student killed in the Paris terrorist attacks just by ordering dinner. California Pizza Kitchen restaurants in Long Beach, Seal Beach, Lakewood, Cerritos, and 15 other locations will donate 20% of their receipts next Monday and Tuesday to the 49er Foundation. That money will go toward remodeling the lower division design shop and renaming it in memory of Noemi Gonzalez, the 23-year-old Cal State Long Beach design student who was one of 130 people killed in Paris in November. Is there anything else more secret than top secret? Turns out there is. It's Top Secret Special Access Program. And the Inspector General, looking into Hillary Clinton's emails, told Congress this week that some of the emails on Clinton's private server carry that designation. Superman and Batman, Godzilla and King Kong, Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg. Yeah, that's a thing. They cook together. No, food. They cook food. But today's alliance of titans beats them all. Behold, Donald Trump has a new ally. Sarah Palin has endorsed Donald Trump as only she can.
Mr. Trump, you're right. Look back there in the press box. Heads are spinning. Media heads are spinning. This is going to be so much fun. Are you ready to make America great again? I was told, warned left and right, you are going to get so clobbered in the press. You are just going to get beat up and chewed up and spit out. And, I'm thinking, and? Yeah? You guys haven't tried to do that every day since that night in 2008 when I was on stage nominated for VP. And I got to say, yeah, I'll go, send me, you betcha. I'll serve. Well, I am here because, like you, I know that it is now or never. I'm in it to win it. You ready for a commander-in-chief who will let our warriors do their job and go kick ISIS ass? Are you ready to stump for Trump? I'm here to support the next president of the United States, Donald Trump. He, being the only one who's been willing, he's got the guts to wear the issues that need to be spoken about and debated on his sleeve, where the rest of some of these establishment candidates, they just wanted to duck and hide. They didn't want to talk about these issues till he brought them up. In fact, they've been wearing this political correctness kind of like a suicide vest.
Okay, we're a couple of minutes in now. She talks for 21 minutes, and Trump is standing just a few feet from Palin in Ames, Iowa, and at this point, even he has what looks like a "what did she just say?" expression on his face, though it looks like he is trying to hide it. Finally, she wraps up.
Iowa, you say a lot. Being here tonight, supporting the right man who will allow you to make America great again. God bless you. God bless the United States of America and our next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Now, there is something in this for both Palin and Trump. For Trump, obviously, Palin is a key to evangelicals, which are important to him unseating Ted Cruz as the leader in Iowa before the caucuses in a week and a half. And for Palin, of course, it gets her back on the stage. And in what may be a related story, Univision, the Spanish-language television network, has just bought a controlling interest in The Onion. This story actually broke 2 days ago, but many national news outlets didn't run the story because they thought it was a joke story in The Onion. It turns out to be true. Now you know what we know. I'm Jeff Kaufman, High Definition News.